Maybe you thought that the darkness had come to Sportswire Radio and we were going to be blacked out. Maybe you thought we weren't going to make it because we were wondering who controls the strings, or really if we were going to talk about giving respect to a current hardcore champion. But not so fast, my friend, because our guest is here. He's here by popular demand. But most importantly, he's here because he requested an opportunity to speak and to address all of those, including some recently, that have come on to Sportswire Radio from Tennessee Backyard Wrestling, and that very well may include a hardcore champion, a championship that he once held. You've seen him in a number of different incarnations. You've seen him once as well, somebody named Jacob Anderson. You've seen him as a part of the Southern Wrecking Crew. You've even seen him as a Black Fox. But forget about all of that, because we are live and our guest needs no further introduction, especially after many of his peers and many of his enemies have gotten that introduction. It is now his time to get that introduction and to bring him live onto Sportswire Radio, the number one global radio station. So with that, wait for it. Further ado here on the Sports Report, the number one global sports show, the former Tennessee Backyard Wrestling hardcore champion. They call him Jacob Young. My friend, good evening.
Good evening.
How are you? Obviously, we certainly made people wait, but I definitely promise to those that are listening and watching on Sportswire Radio, this is going to be worth it and some. And I already see comments percolating. But Jacob Young, you have been quite the topic, not only here on Sportswire Radio, the number one global radio station, but all throughout Tennessee Backyard Wrestling. And for those that are listening and watching here on Sports Wire Radio, I have to actually throw you a curveball and ask you a question, a big question. Jacob Young, are you responsible for the Atomic freaking Titan being the hardcore king and the first ever Grand Slam champion in TBW history?
You know what? No.
Why?
Why? You see, I just let Titan be himself. I let Titan ruin his own image. I got in his head. I played mind games, and he fell for them. He didn't need that big of a push. He's always been a bad guy. He's always been that person. People want to blame me, that's fine. I'll take that heat. I'll take that aberration. I thank you for blaming me.
Wait,
But
wait, wait,
I
wait,
didn't
wait,
have to
wait.
do anything.
Okay, fair play to you. But you were the one that wanted the Atomic Titan to have the darkness come into him. You were the one that was basically getting into his face, putting your hands on him. And now you're telling us a slightly different detour. I mean, I'm curious, and I'm especially curious for people that are kind of wondering here.
You see, I did want the darkness. I wanted a new version of Atomic Titan. I wanted something that nobody had ever seen before. And in that match, he embraced it. But now, he claims he's a king when he's just a puppet.
Yes, but it came at your expense.
You know, And I want to address that situation too.
I'm okay.
You see, I don't understand why everybody's giving me credit for the Commissioner Beast putting me in a match I wasn't supposed to be in either. Maybe I was just coming out there to be a viewer. Maybe I wanted to see if Titan could embrace that darkness all on his own, and then I was
Mm.
interjected into the match. I did, however, have a rematch clause. So, I think it should have been me and Joe Anderson one on one again, and Titan shouldn't have even been in the picture.
But Titan and you squared off in a number one contendership match, which he won. Although obviously, to many, it was certainly very questionable on how he won that match. But he had won that match, and therefore, shouldn't it have been him and the Grim Reaper, Joe Anderson, your one-time former cousin?
I mean, it probably should have been, but cards are how they are now. But I will
Okay,
refresh your memory, Mr.
please
Bright.
do.
At TSC, he had beaten me in TSC Classic.
Yes, yes, yes.
So I felt like I owed Titan a rematch. I felt like I owed him a match. Did I expect him to win? Maybe. As you heard in the match, maybe you didn't hear, I told him before he kneed me the second time to let the darkness in.
Well, I mentioned it.
Mhm.
I just mentioned that a few minutes ago. We talked about the darkness. You wanted the darkness to seep into the Atomic Titan. The Atomic Titan basically talked about the fact that he was the American Dragon. He would never give up. He was always doing it in a different way. And you also talked about Titan Industry. You talked about where he had his most success. And you know what? To be fair, on this show in the past, I have heard from people who are now mad at Titan and who now want a piece of him. They talked about the fact about his most success in the Atomic Titan, the Atomic freaking Titan, by the way. His success in his career was Titan Industry.
Exactly. I wanted to push. You see, I even told him that I wanted that version of him. But did he give me that? No, he gave me something so much better. Something that I can control and manipulate and play games with anytime I feel like.
All right, well, this is getting real interesting. I have comments. I promise. I want to say hello to people that are tuning in for the first time. I'm going to get to everybody, but you are saying you control the Atomic freaking Titan. Is that correct? Is that what you're telling me?
I do.
And you tell me now. Tell me, Mr. Young, why do you control the Atomic freaking Titan?
Because he's demanding respect. He's demanding the one thing you have to earn, and he's demanding it. So he has my respect because he made me pass out. You see, the interesting thing is when the title's on the line, I usually don't lose
True.
by pinfall or submission. Unless it's Joe Anderson, of course. I give him props. But usually it takes every breath of my body to keep me down. And I wanted Titan to push those boundaries, and he did. So now he's playing his cards right into my hands.
Interesting. I'm gonna hold that thought because I want to get to some comments because a lot of people have chimed in, and I'd like to say hello to people because people were patiently waiting for you. People were really anxiously awaiting the arrival of the artist formerly known as Jacob Anderson, the Black Fox Jacob Young, now to just Jacob Young. Pretty soon you'll be like Madonna and just be called Jacob, or maybe you're just young. You're almost like going in
No,
that direction. Yeah. I wouldn't want to be compared to Madonna these days. Maybe like 30 years ago in the looks, but certainly you're Jacob Young and you're all about hardcore and doing things the way you do. So you stay the way you do, and I'll get to comments. Want to say hello to my buddy from Australia out there at 1:54 p.m. tomorrow, Mr. Ace Reed of the Wire Fired Up Podcast, usually my first comment. He is that comment. And I want people to follow Backyard Wrestling Down Under, BWU Wrestling on YouTube. How you doing, buddy? My other buddy, Mr. Skulls, the Soul Hunter, by the way. He's a Soul Hunter. He's out in California, though. He's with, I think, WCE, or maybe he was in WCE. Jacob, you might need to get you a Demon Child. No, I don't think you need a Demon Child, but maybe I think of the Ozzy song Demon Alcohol. If you're an Ozzy fan, you'll probably know what I'm talking about there. Speaking of people that we want to respect, and you have said that you respect him now. You did say in your
I did.
words you respect him. So
I
you
did.
are, and that is our hardcore champion, our hardcore king, the first ever Grand Slam champion in TBW history. Now, by the way, a side detour. What do you think about the turtlenecks?
I mean,
No
you
comment.
see my fashion.
True. Well, you like it all. You like it all black. You definitely,
I like
have
it all black.
you are very
So
unique in fashion sense. You definitely,
yeah. I threw on the little sweat jacket.
Well, it works
Works.
for you though. It works for you though. I think the Atomic Titan's probably going for like the maybe Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Hearts Beatles style. Maybe it works for him, but I think your style works for you. So, speaking of people that do not like Mr. Titan, it is our founder and owner of Tennessee Backyard Wrestling, Mr. Joshua Allen himself. And by the way, Mr. Allen is celebrating a birthday Thursday, so we say an early once again happy number 24 to Mr. TBW,
Yes,
Joshua
indeed.
Allen.
He is the leader. He is the controller.
He is well. So he's the real puppet. Are you saying then? Wait a minute, that Mr. Allen's the real
I didn't say that.
puppet?
I'm just saying he's got the moniker CEO. So
Oh, well, that's a different. Okay, fair point. Okay, you know what? Okay, I'll give you that. Okay, so fair play. I want to say hello to our guest on Sunday's show, who you know very well because you were on Team TBW against Team Resurrection Wrestling.
yes,
That's
sir.
the co-owner and general manager of Resurrection Wrestling, or Resurrection Pro Wrestling on Instagram, Resurrection Wrestling on YouTube, Mr. Joseph Tibbs. He says, "Good evening, Sportswire." Well, it's with a Z because we're at the Z. There's the S has been taken, but point play to you, Mr. Tibbs. Hello. Want to say hello to the Drip King himself, Mr. Adonis Felios of WCE's Wrestling Championship Entertainment. And he says, Resurrection Pro Wrestling here. Yes, I mentioned that.
Yeah.
I want to say hello to my friend over from Hicksville, Long Island, from Mirabella Pets. Her name is Nikki Mirabella. She has a business that if you are in the business of needing pet care, she definitely can help you out there in the Hicksville area. So check her out. We say hello to her. And let's get to more comments because let's come back where I want to ask you on Mr. Titan. And he has something to say to you. Sir, you mean I beat you in the IC Super Special? Once again, not your puppet. You're not a puppet master. Jacob Young didn't do this. Them fans did. Your reaction?
I mean, did they though? Did they? Who put me in the match? Who orchestrated all of this? Who?
It wasn't you, obviously.
I mean, you never know. I could be working behind the scenes pulling strings. Beast could be working for me.
Well, I think that was a question. If you don't mind me taking a step back for a second, I think I had asked that question to Mr. Titan about how he felt about that, how he felt, Mr. Beast, inserting you in the match for the hardcore title at All Hallows Mania 3. I had asked, was there any type of, I don't know, respect, or maybe conversely, let's go with a follow up to that, to the other follow up I just had. Maybe it was Commissioner Beast dissatisfied with chance after chance that Mr. Titan had gotten. And this was kind of his way of maybe punishing Mr. Titan. I mean, what's your response to all those questions?
Once again, maybe I was just there to be a spectator. Maybe I was there for the match. You never know.
Okay. All right. Well, fair. I'll give you that much. Let me get to some more comments because I have tons of them. But let me get to a burning question before I give you an announcement for a guest upcoming on Sportswire Radio who you actually know. Yes, who you actually know. Mr. Allen would like to say, does this mean that Young has went from the Black Fox to the Puppet Master? Because you said this will be a different version of Jacob Young. Yes, we did talk about that term earlier. And what does that mean then for the future of Jacob Young?
I don't know how to answer that question.
Well, you're
Let me.
live on Sportswire Radio. You're going to have to try.
I'm gonna have to try, but let me try my best. Let me rephrase that. When I said the black fox was dead, I meant it. I'm not the one who called me the puppet master. That was Josh Ross.
But that's a commentator, though. That was a commentator that
It was
called
a
you that.
commentator. And everybody since then has been calling me the puppet master.
Well, a
But he
commentator, I
asked
don't.
but he asked a
Okay.
very interesting question too.
It is a very
Am
interesting
I
question.
am I pulling the strings? Or am I
Well,
working for somebody else?
are you saying you may work for somebody in the front office? Are you working with anybody else on the roster that would have some type of strings? I mean, obviously, Commissioner Beast is a name that's going to be thrown out there because of the situation with the hardcore title. I mean, I don't think I can't say you and Jay Wild the Prophet would really have that type of pull. I mean,
I mean, you never know.
well,
Who? Who?
I I'm asking you. I mean, because you're here, it's not my call. It's you're here tonight live on Sportswire Radio. We're here to ask you these questions. You've requested to come on here, and people want to know, what is the future of Jacob Young? Does Jacob Young work for anybody? Are you this guy that's pulling the strings? Do you have a long term plan? Do you have something here that we're going to have to find out, maybe tune into when it comes to the go home show at Rampage
You're
and
definitely
season
gonna have to
finale?
tune in and find out.
Well, I'm glad you said that because we're on the same page, because I want to give a big plug before I get to some more comments to our very good friends over at Tennessee Backyard Wrestling, because you can check them out on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook at Tennessee Backyard Wrestling, and on YouTube, where, by the way, 6,000 subscribers. I repeat, 6,000 subscribers. TBW 2017. That signifies almost how long Tennessee Backyard Wrestling has been in business. We're going on nearly 7 years. That's why you want to join the movement. Show after show gets 2,000, 3,000, 1,000, and more views. And that's why you need to join us and support Tennessee Backyard Wrestling, and also give Jacob Young a follow on Instagram at Jacob Young 4446, because, well, if he's the puppet master, we want to make sure we continue to get those strings continue to be pulled on Instagram, because we don't want those strings to be pulled and taken away from us, and we're permanently in
Mhm.
the darkness and we can't see anything and we can't like and follow people. So we want to make sure that we follow Jacob there. But I have so many comments that I'm going to have to run a bunch of them through here because I got a lot of them. So let me try to get to everybody here at once. I'm going to break it here because I have a lot of people tuned in, and I'm going to let you get a thought or two on this. But
Okay.
next Saturday in your chair, 8 o'clock Eastern time, from Resurrection Wrestling, Mr. D'Angelo Flame. There is nobody that probably has more energy than this man, and he is coming live to Sports Wire Radio next Saturday, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So if you're a fan of TBW, if you're a fan of Resurrection, if you're a fan of Sports Wire, and frankly, if you're a fan of wrestling altogether, you need to be there next Saturday for D'Angelo the Flame. Now, you saw him firsthand. You saw him in that whole TBW versus Resurrection match that we saw.
He was the one that eliminated me, if you
And
remember.
that's why I was about to bring that up. And I was wondering, I'm sure you haven't forgot about Mr. LaFlame. I'm sure that
No,
TBW hasn't forgotten about the fact that Resurrection won that war. And oh, by the way, the Atomic Titan, didn't he fail in that, some may say? So,
he
you
did.
know, there's something there on that. So anything you might want to address to Mr. LaFlame, I'm sure you'll be tuning in next Saturday because he's got a lot to say, apparently.
Yeah. I'll be watching. I'm very interested to hear what you say.
So
And
go ahead.
you know, he's all good now, but all it takes is one string to be pulled, and
But
maybe he'll join the darkness.
but I don't think you control his strings though.
Are you sure?
I'm never sure about anything at this point. I'm not even sure what time it is right now. So I mean, what do I know, right? Obviously, I'll ask Mr. LaFlame though. I'll ask him his thoughts. How about that?
Okay.
Fair deal. We'll move on. He respects me because I beat it into him. He respects me because I beat it into him twice. You agree? Disagree?
Titan, you earn respect when you stand in the ring with somebody. You earn respect when you push them to their breaking point. So in a way, you are right. But again, you're wrong
Hmm. Okay.
because you did what I wanted you to do. You turned your back on the people who care about you the most.
Well, that's one thing that Joshua Ross and you seem to have agreed upon is that Titan turned his back on the people that seemed like they believed in him most. But I have to conversely ask you, though, Titan was going to face a pink slip. He was going to be fired from Tennessee Backyard Wrestling if he didn't win that hardcore championship. If you were in his spot, wouldn't you have done the same thing?
I don't I don't know. Possibly.
But you wouldn't have wanted to have lost your job in Tennessee Backyard Wrestling, especially with the following that TBW has. You wouldn't have wanted to have lost your spot. I mean, I'm sure you might have the darkness. I'm sure you might be a man that has many, many things that you can do. No question about it. But if you were in that spot, he was faced with his livelihood on the line. He was faced with what could he do in terms of providing for himself and, keeping his name out there. And
The
he had no choice.
fans cheered Black Fox, Black Fox, Black Fox, but he died. I took him away from the fans because I didn't want that pressure.
So you don't
I
like
didn't
pressure then.
I didn't want the fans to look up to something. I didn't want them to have a hope. So I gave them another hope to have, and he did exactly what I wanted and fell right into the hole.
Okay. Okay. I'm going to move on because I have a lot more comments and I want to come back to Mr. Titan one more time. Then I want to get to a ton of more people because I have tons of comments because people really are curious about you. Mr. Atomic Freaking Titan says, you were trying to get into my head for weeks. You know, it might have left me conflicted a bit, but I had no choice to do what I did to you, which is exactly kind of my point. And to be fair, he thought about the concerto. You remember he was going to give you that concerto? I'm sure you definitely remember that. And he thought about it and he didn't do it. But when it came to his job being on the line, he had no other choice. Otherwise, we don't know where the Atomic Titan would be right now. We maybe we're not talking about him right now. Maybe we don't know. Maybe he's on a milk carton somewhere. Maybe he's on one
Yeah,
of those tree posts that's
but he had
missing.
a choice. He had a choice. He could have not low blowed me. I mean, it was a hardcore match, and in that sense, he didn't cheat. So I don't understand why everybody's so upset.
They're
But
upset because he low blowed you. They're upset because the Atomic Titan was always the guy that did it by the right reasons. He was always the one that did it because it was what the fans wanted. He was always somebody that did it the right way. He wouldn't go about to break the rules, as some may say. That's why people were so upset. But I say his job was on the line. Wouldn't anybody else do that?
when your back's against the wall, that's when you have to fight the hardest. I give him props. He fought the hardest. But it wasn't even the low blow that upset me. I didn't care. It wasn't the bull rope to the mouth that upset me. I didn't care.
Then what was it? What was it, sir?
It was the aberration, the audacity, and the joy that I got from seeing him do exactly what I wanted.
How did the bull rope taste, by the way?
Not great.
I would imagine. I would imagine. I would imagine. Well, I'll move on here because I have lots of comments. I want to say hello to one of my buddies who will be here Friday night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm part of a whole crew of people from the IMF. They have their first live show on December the 16th. We'll talk about it called Winter Clash. That is Mr. Dirty Donnie. How you doing? I want to say hello to one of my buddies from a company called XCW. His father is a referee there, and his name is Festus Davis, and his name is Michael Blackheart. And I'll have more XCW coverage Thursday night. And he says, "Hello, Tom." And he likes your beard, by the way. Yeah, it's certainly a good beard. I wouldn't say it's not. You could certainly be in one of those beard commercials. Yeah, I would certainly give you that. But,
Not as nice as yours, but okay.
yeah, I'm getting that a lot. But I want to not about me. It's actually somebody that I do want to bring up that we spent a few minutes on, and he was a man that used to be your cousin, and he's a man that you one time took that hardcore championship from, and you know his name very well, and he is the Grim Reaper, Mr. Joe Anderson. I kicked you out of the family, and you made me lose my title at All Hallows when you joined my match. See you soon, Jacob. I was never pinned. I killed the Black Fox, obviously with the mask. But from what I saw, I mean, the Grim Reapers had some other problems also from what we saw most recently from him in action. No?
Mm, you shouldn't worry so much about the past, Reaper. I encourage you to take down the Hardcore King. Because when he fails again and has nowhere else to go, you see, he thinks he's on top of the world because he has a belt. He thinks he's on top of the world and can demand respect. But when he has nowhere else to go, that's when I have control.
But wouldn't you say though that he's is on the top of the world because he's the only person factually in the entire history, the long storied history of Tennessee backyard wrestling, to have won a Grand Slam. He's won every major championship in TBW history. Isn't he on top of the world?
I mean, I'm not a history buff, but I think my cousin is only one title away from joining him.
That may be so, and your cousin certainly has done a lot in this sport as well, and especially in TBW. And he is somebody that I would certainly never count out, and most people wouldn't either. So fair play. And Mr. Titan says, "Yeah, you are working for me. You do what I say now." Okay. I think this is maybe our Ref Carter. Is that Ref Carter here? I think Ref Carter is giving us the eyeballs here. I think that's a first. I think it's the first time I've seen Ref Carter, and also I guess hi to Ref Carter, by the way. And I feel like every time I see Ref Carter, he's either counting the 3 on his back, but the hey, but I'm bump. But Mr. Anderson wants to say, I have Black Fox's soul. Well, he destroyed your mask. And, that was kind of where you took the title from him, but he took your mask. And that was kind of the Black Fox's beginning of the end.
He gave me this freedom. I don't hold no faults against him. He told me to stop talking to it. He told me to not listen. So, whose fault is this really?
We'll find out, I suppose. I want to say hello to somebody else that's tuned in all the way from the friendly confines of Brooklyn, New York. She is a huge wrestling fan. Her name is Zena, and she certainly wants to say that she is a big fan of Jacob Young. She's enjoying Jacob Young. She watches Tennessee Backyard Wrestling, and she appreciates that you've come on here live, and it certainly made her day to hear from you, not from me. It's about you. So she's very excited to hear from you. Not so much excited to hear from me, but she's a big fan of yours. And certainly she's blushing right now because she's getting a big shout out from yours truly. But we'll move on from that because we appreciate the fact that she's tuned in and she could be doing other things. But let's come back to more comments. Dirty Donnie says, these guys that don't want to watch, that don't want to talk, Tom, The foundation and the IMF don't stop chattering. Oh, okay. We'll talk about it Friday. I'll give you that. I got plenty of more comments. Mr. Blackheart says that's more subs than I have total views. He said he just subscribed to TBW. That was nice of him. I mean, and we love
Welcome,
and
welcome.
XCW, by the way. I want my TBW fans to go to subscribe to XCW because XCW has been around for 20 years. I consider them to be the gold standard of semi-pro wrestling. And we have coverage from them Thursday night, 10 o'clock Eastern time, with Julian Void Jacobs. Yep, Julian Void Jacobs. And you can check them out in all these platforms below. So want to say hello to everybody out there in wrestling land. Go support each other. So thank you very much, Mr. Blackheart, for that. Let me come back to several more comments. I'm sure she is still excited to hear from you too. Okay, so somebody is excited to have you on, Mr. Young. So you got another fan. That's nice of you. But let me get to a couple of comments here from business from Mr. Allen. He says next month's season finale, number 7 in December for Tennessee Backyard Wrestling. Keep in mind, the last 2 final men in the Gold Rush will face in the main event. There will be a new world heavyweight champion. Now, I'm going to take a slight detour if I could. Now, obviously, I know that you're not going to be squaring off in that, but who do you think there? Is it the man you mentioned in your recent 154 basically state of the TBW world and the Nature Boy Gage Flair, the workhorse champion? He calls himself the workhorse champion. He's the real man here. Or maybe somebody like the party animal, Fat Asian. I mean, or anybody else that comes to mind. I don't know.
Yeah, you're right, Tom. It could be anybody. I mean, you're definitely gonna have to watch and find out. Even I'm gonna have to watch and find out. Because, like you said, I'm not in it. I think that was management's way of maybe punishing me for being in the hardcore match and not letting me in this. But that's, neither here nor there.
Okay. I mean, could I ask you about the Prophet J Wild?
You could. Go ahead.
What do you think about him?
Me and Jay Wild have a very immense history. If you read up on your TBW lore, I took the hardcore belt from him.
Yes.
I basically made the Prophet, if you think about it.
I was kind of thinking that with his
He was
success
he
also,
was
yeah.
just Jay Wild. He was the hardcore, whatever he was calling himself, the hardcore Jay Wild or whatever. Can't really remember. Don't really
That's
care.
okay.
But if you think about it, before he lost the hardcore title one last time to me, what made the Prophet? It could have been me. I could be pulling the strings from this whole time.
Well, I could even say, well, maybe you could be, maybe you're the really real owner of TBW. Maybe you own Tennessee Backyard Wrestling. Maybe.
Maybe.
I don't have the books in front of me. I mean, we don't have the documents, so maybe you have the documents after all. I mean, it's all about the red strap, the hardcore championship between Anderson and Young, currently held by Titan. But I would remind Mr. Allen that it's Titan who's got the belt, and he's the hardcore king. I mean, he's the guy that's got the gold right now. And
Yes, and no offense to Mr. Allen, but no. I called out everybody. I put all of TBW on notice.
you did. No, you did. You
I
certainly.
said that I saw something in my rearview mirror that I wanted, and then I said that maybe I would go after Gage Flair himself, Mr. Woo Man.
Mr. Woo Man. Yep. Yep, Mr. Woo Man, the workhorse champion, the man that's always partying, who's strutting. I mean, there's people out there all around the world that try to do his strut and try to talk like him, try to look like him, try to move like him, but they can't be like him. And some may even feel right now that the Nature Boy Gage Flair, he is really the only Nature Boy out there, the only real Nature Boy that's doing anything in the ring, because there is obviously another Nature Boy, but he's certainly a
All
shell
I
of
gotta say
himself.
is he better watch out for Fat Asian,
The
because
party
Fat Asian,
animal, former world
no,
champion, former world
no,
champion.
not the
But you,
party animal, the party killer.
but, but, speaking of that, I mean, obviously, Mr. Asian advanced because of somebody else that you also know, in another guy who's got a rather interesting background, and who at one time was also a Southern bulldozer, but now he goes by Armageddon Shane Davidson. You have any thought on him or any thought on how Mr. Asian or Mr. Killer, Mr. Animal, whatever else you might want to call him, actually advanced the last time we saw him in the main event of Rampage 155?
I mean, I'm happy for the party killer, Fat Asian, because now he has the chance to do something he hasn't done in forever. He has a
True.
chance to climb up and win a title that he hasn't held in a long time. So I wish him the best of luck.
But what about Mr. Davidson? What do you think of him? I mean, he's another guy that, do you control his strings? I mean, you know,
I mean, he referenced the punch to the head
he did.
and
He did.
said that Jacob Young wasn't in control, and then referenced a mask that he found randomly on the road.
Yes, and he had it here with us on Sportswire. Yes. So are you saying even
How
for your,
random was that mask?
well, so are you telling me here, for those that are listening and watching on Sportswire Radio, Mr. Young, that maybe even Mr. Davidson's taste is a little bit more complicated than yours?
I'm telling you that nothing is random in this world. Everything has a purpose, and maybe that mask is serving a purpose. You see people that embrace the darkness and people that lean on it and love it, understand it and embrace it, and they hold it close to their hearts.
Do you think that Mr. Davidson has done a good job in embracing the darkness?
Absolutely.
And you think then that obviously another person, kind of in Mr. Alan Michaels, the trendsetter, is probably not going to be able to stay trendy much longer because Mr. Davidson's been able to embrace that darkness and he's been able to certainly get the upper hand on Mr. Michaels. Is that fair to say from your vantage point?
I mean, from my vantage point, yes. No offense to Mr. Staying Trinity, but like I said earlier, all it takes is a couple strings, and even the greatest of them all fall.
So then you're not much of a trendy guy. Then you don't believe in trends or follow them.
I believe his show serves a purpose. I believe he serves a purpose.
Okay.
But
All right.
I'm not very trendy. No
Fair
offense.
enough. We have failed. We failed that matchup at Battlefield because we had a leader like Jacob. Well, that's true. I mean, that's. Did you fail Team Tennessee Backyard Wrestling? Did you fail? Did you fail us at Battlefield?
I did. I let my guard down,
True.
and Mr. LaFlame got the best of me.
I'm gonna talk to him about that next Saturday, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time.
It can happen to anybody. Look at Titan. He failed so many times, and then somebody got the best of him.
Well, you could make the case maybe Mr. Davidson. It happened to him at Rampage 154 also.
Exactly.
Okay, so now we're on to something, huh? The time is too late. I don't know what that reference is for, but I appreciate the comment. This guy looks like Rip Taylor pounds. Okay. Let's see what else we have here. We have two more comments. I just missed them. My eyes are failing me. We had here. Oh, how about this one? This is the one I was looking for. Was Jacob Young the one shaking hands with the prophet Jay Wild backstage? We may have to investigate.
I mean, my arm's pretty small. That arm was pretty big, but I mean, could have been anybody.
Could have been almost did it eeny meeny miny mo, and maybe who knows who could it have been. But while we're here on Sports Wire Radio, my name is the Reverend Tom Bryce. I am your voice of all wrestling. I am the host of the Sports Report, the owner of Sports Wire Radio, the number one global radio station. And if you are out there and you like us on Sports Wire Radio, you're here for the first time, you can check us out anytime on our brand new website, radio.org, where we actually put on our schedule Jacob Young. You can check us out anytime via the Watch Now or the Listen Live button. We have an internet radio station which I function every single day. I program it, I engineer it, I schedule it, all the different shows you might hear out there. So if you like wrestling, we have a lot of wrestling content. We play music, we have sports talk. If you have a podcast out there, if you want to suggest a podcast for me to play, I will play it out there for our worldwide radio feed free of charge. All you have to do is get in touch with me via Instagram at the Sports Report 2021. You can check us out also on YouTube, where you can watch past, present, and future Tennessee Backyard Wrestling and Resurrection Pro Wrestling shows. You can check us out anytime here at Sportswire Radio 6579 Backspace Streams. And also, we have a blog where we get to make our announcements. If we have time, we'll get to do write-ups. We have a Joshua Allen write-up on there, Alan Michaels. You can check that on Tumblr, tumblr.com at Sportswire Radio. We also announced earlier today, before Jacob came on, our newest member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. He's the first British professional boxer to have won a wrestling championship in professional wrestling in the UK. His name is the natural born fighter, R.P. Davis. He's live with us Thursday night, 3 p.m. Eastern Time. And get this guy, he controls not one, not two, but three World Heavyweight Championships in England. He controls the Odyssey Pro Wrestling title, the Wrestle Island title, the TNT Ignition title, and he, oh, by the way, wrestled last year a guy you might have heard of in AEW called Anthony Ogogo. He's here live with us this coming Thursday. And oh, by the way, as a bonus, he won the Knockout Wrestling Showcase Championship there. So RPD is really somebody that is probably the quintessential example of a Hall of Famer. He was also, by the way, the first ever British wrestler I interviewed, only the second one I interviewed 3 years ago. So this will be a real treat. So if you're not doing anything 3 o'clock afternoon, Thursday, tune in. I'll be here same time, 3 o'clock tomorrow with the Stompers, Rob Blade and Richie Blanco of EBW and DBW. So looking forward to all that here. But right now, we are here with Mr. Jacob Young, who is the artist formerly known as the Southern Cruz, Jacob Anderson, the artist formerly known as the Black Fox, Jacob Young, but now he's just Jacob Young, and I continue to hope that he doesn't pull a Madonna on us and become just Jacob or just Young. So, we'll have to see. Hopefully that doesn't happen. I was trying to at least make you laugh, but that's here. Nor there, the Black Widow. All right, you know what? I'm going to do something here. We spoke a lot with you, and if I were to tell you, sir, that there would be somebody live that would want to say a few words to you. Obviously you've said a lot. You've said a mouthful about a number of different talent in TBW, but if I were to bring somebody on that would actually want to say something to you, want to address you, or have anything else on their mind to say, would you want to hear from them? Would you want the ability to kind of have a face-to-face with that person if you would be so kind to see them and want them to come on live?
I mean, it depends on who it is, because I don't really care for a lot of opinions of other people.
Well, what if I just said that person's going to come on, and what if I said that person doesn't want to be revealed, but they want to greet you? They want to certainly talk about this darkness. They want to talk about this pulling the strings, or calling yourself the puppet master, or addressing a number of claims that you've had, but they want to do it in kind of anonymity, almost, of how can I put it that way, until they want to come on and greet you. Maybe they want to thank you. I mean, that's just what I've received. I've received a telegram from somebody that wants to come on. So it's up to you. I mean, we could basically tell them, you know what, maybe next week come on. Yeah, maybe next month, or that we don't need their services. I mean, what do you say to all that? Would you
I
still?
mean, they have their time to shine, and I have mine. So
So you know what? I mean, I guess then what you're telling me is that we're going to bring this individual on that wants to say something, especially to you. And we're actually going to do it right now because you've said his name almost throughout the entire show. He is our hardcore king. He is the only Grand Slam winner in Tennessee backyard wrestling. And most importantly, sir, you said you respect him, and we respect him. It is our hardcore king, the hardcore champion of Tennessee backyard wrestling, the Atomic freaking Titan. The floor is yours.
So, Jacob Young, you say you respect me now. But you see, after all that we've been through, you know what? I appreciate that. But one thing I made last week on Rampage clear is that you're not a puppet master. You're not pulling those strings. So you need to get over that. I did what I had to because my job was on the line. Yes, you might have conflicted me a bit. And it might seem like you're the person that might have done that. But, I'm here to tell you that you weren't. I'm going to prove that every single week when you step in front of me.
And I hope you do. I hope you embrace that darkness because that's all I want. You're just playing in the hands I dealt you.
So you want to say that you made me do what I did? You want to make you're the one that made me like this, basically.
You've always been like this. You just needed to be reminded.
I might have been like that for a while, to be honest. But then I actually, I had a
Don't
change
lie.
of heart. I had a
No,
change of
don't lie.
heart.
Don't lie now.
I had a change of heart at one time. But now I have another change of heart. After what, the TBW universe did to me, after all the losses I had, they wanted to call me a failure, said I would never get the job done. And then I ran into you. Weren't you the one that interrupted me?
And I
And
reminded
you
you of
put
your
your hands
past.
on me. That's what you don't
I
understand.
reminded you of what you were and how great you could be. And now, because of me, you have that title.
I mean, I agree with you. I'm pretty great. Um, I don't blame you on that. Yeah, I need to know what I truly am and what I could have been and what I am now. But you see, I don't think it's over between us. I really don't.
Hmm.
I know you probably honestly won't be given another match with me by season finale because obviously you don't have another rematch clause wait, hold on, unless Beast automatically somehow puts you into that into a match with me somehow. I don't know, but were
Maybe
you
I could
pulling
pull
strings there?
you.
Were you
Maybe I
pulling
could.
strings with him? Because it's not with me.
Well, that's what we were asking tonight. We were basically asking Mr. Young what and how, when, where, why, and every other thing you want to ask. What does he have up his sleeve, more or less?
As I said before, maybe I just walked out there to be a spectator and see if you would do what I wanted you to do without me being in the ring. And then Mr. Beast came out behind me and interjected me into the match. I had no prior knowledge of this, but I do appreciate it because I did have a number one contender match with you, but I also had my rematch clause that I never got one on one with Joe Anderson. Maybe he looked back at his history books and seen that I deserved it.
Well, if you want an actual one-on-one shot, you know where I'm at. Last week you wanted to run into me backstage as I was going out there demanding more respect and all that. You wanted to say I was your child or some kind of thing. I don't know if you kind of lost brain cells a little bit there, but that little voice didn't scare me. I don't know what that was. If something was like
Well, he's changed
overtaking you.
names
I
a
don't
few
know.
times. To be fair, Mr. Young has changed, as I've continued to say throughout the show. He was at once Jacob Anderson, part of the Southern Wrecking Crew.
Yeah.
And he was the Black Fox Jacob Young, and now he's just Jacob Young, and I still continue to contest. Will he next just be Jacob? Maybe.
He might be.
So, Mr. Titan, you're here. You're obviously addressing a number of things you've heard from Mr. Young. Mr. Young is, how can I put this here tonight? He has certainly given us a lot of riddles, almost questions. Maybe in a way he is like the Riddler rather than the Black Fox. Maybe you're the Riddler, Jacob Young. We have all these question marks. Maybe on the t-shirts going forward, we can see a question mark be put out there. Maybe put a little bit of red, maybe black on there. See thumbs up there. Somebody's working that. But I mean, I feel like that you're here, Mr. Titan. We've heard a lot of questions, no real answers. We're in these riddles. So what do you want tonight? And what do you want to say really specifically then to Mr. Young that people might want to look forward to or maybe get out of this?
Well, Tom, what I want to say to Jacob Young is if he respects me, then he respects me. I could say that he, maybe he'll bring that back out. Bring back that darkness. I'm not really sure, but I'm glad to say that I'm the hardcore king. I run TBW, and also Jacob Young. You know what? I do have a big announcement here tonight. That's why I'm kind of a little bit, thinking too much, I think.
Don't think too much. You're live here. And
I know, I'm live.
And Mr. Allen, by the way, has got a lot to say right now. Mr. Allen is right now. He's fuming in the chat room. He is fuming.
What does he have to say? Let me see what he has to say. I'll say something about him.
Jesus Christ. Here we go again. Change of heart, my ass. What heart?
It was a change of heart. Like when I came back, if you remember correctly, I was different.
Yes.
And I will say right here that Jacob Young might have helped me bring that darkness back out. It really made me see what I really could have been.
That's exactly what I asked. My very first question was, Mr. Young, are you responsible for the Atomic Titan, the Atomic freaking Titan?
You know what, Jacob Young, I could answer that for you. I could say that you are. But also, it's part of it. You only did part of it. I had to do the rest. And the fans and the TBW universe, they caused it as well. Because of what I said.
What you're saying is, I pulled the right strings.
I could say you might have pulled some strings, but you're not a puppet master. You're not basically pulling those strings anymore. Let's just say that. Because you think you're some kind of leader over me, which is not true. That's not going to happen. I'm not going to follow what you have to say. If anything, you're going to follow what I say from now on.
I did tell you I was watching.
Well, I have a slight follow-up on that because, Mr. Titan, when I saw you backstage and I saw Mr. Anderson sitting down there, last I remember, maybe in a way, should I actually be asking you, Mr. Atomic freaking Titan, the hardcore king, that maybe you're the guy to actually help lead and propel back to success, back to the promised land, the likes of the Grim Reaper Joe Anderson and Jacob Young? Maybe it's you that actually should be the leader for them, because I saw the way you addressed Mr. Anderson, and Mr. Anderson was kind of left there after we saw him defeated in the ring, and you basically were trying to tell him almost to snap out of it, and you're here with Mr. Young, and maybe it's the other way around, and maybe you're the leader of these guys.
I definitely am, because I'm the hardcore king. I do and say what I want. Joe Anderson has nothing on me, even though it's your cousin.
He does have his rematch.
he put me through a brutal battle. That's what I'll say at All Hallows Mania. But, you know, I had to say what I had to say to him. He's a failure. He's a loser. He's not hardcore. This belt hasn't been relevant in a long time, but now it's relevant on my shoulder and around my waist. So Jacob Young and Joe Anderson, you both might need my leadership to take you back to the promised land. Maybe I could be the guy to actually take Joe Anderson back to the TBW World Heavyweight title. Maybe I could actually help you actually win a title outside of hardcore. Because we've seen that you couldn't do that against me. I beat you how many times now? I beat Joe Anderson as well. He's only beat me once. And that's when I was under the spell of Joshua Allen at that time back 2 years ago. But, you know, the person I am now, he's not going to be able to beat me. And come season finale, if he's the next challenger in a rematch, he's going to want my leadership. And I'm going to beat it into him. I'm going to put him through every weapon, every obstacle, every object I can. That's just what I have to do. He's going to come to learn to respect me.
Are you saying there, Mr. Titan, that there's a possibility that you may actually want Mr. Anderson in the ring at season finale? Did I just hear that?
If he wants it, come and get it.
Interesting, because Mr. Anderson was in the chats tonight. He was actually in the conversation, and I would imagine that he's listening out there.
But do I think he deserves it? No. But a beast or somebody in charge wants to give him that opportunity, come along.
A rematch clause.
Because you know what? You and him has been feuding over this title for so long. And it was back and forth between you, him, Manny Cobra, and I think that was it for like the past 2 years. Maybe Jay Wild there or possibly Cooper at one point. But lately it was you two. That wasn't even hardcore matches. I don't even know what the hell that was.
They were basically reruns. They were just reruns.
It was reruns. It was like every time you two had to go up against each other because somehow, some way, the feud is never settled.
It was almost like a Harlem Globetrotters Washington Generals.
You know what? That's why I came to the hardcore division. It's because I want this title to be the most relevant title in TBW history now. And on Rampage, we might not have a world championship right now or champion, but I'm the one that's on Rampage every single week. I'm out there demanding respect from the TBW universe because that's what I deserve. That's what I deserve. And at the end of the day, I'm going to get it. I'm not playing no games.
Well, no offense to you, Mr. Titan, but in order to earn the Reaper's respect, you'd have to kill him first.
You know what? He wants to say he takes souls, but at the end of the day, if he's in my way at season finale, I'm going to take his.
Chaotic got him, though. Listen, Chaotic got him on Rampage. I mean, he's certainly the track record the last few months of the Grim Reaper hasn't been the track record we saw in 2022 or in 2021.
Yeah, that man hasn't been himself since he lost the TBW World Heavyweight title. Let's, matter of fact, mention that Joshua Allen is actually the man that led him to that. He needs someone like me or something to, revamp his career. Because lately it's been boring. He's not a Grim Reaper. He's not even scary. He don't affect me no more. I think
he's a watered down. Listen, he's a watered down version of the Grim Reaper, Joe Anderson. He's basically.
Man. Yeah, you're right.
He's become like the Fast and the Furious series. It's almost like the same ending. It's the same ending over and over and over. I mean, how many Fast and the Furiouses are there? How many times does Joe Anderson do the same thing? But I have some more comments, fellas, because people are certainly tuned in.
It reminds me of his UWA career, not going to lie.
Well, I mean, that's certainly a conversation for another time. But Mr. Allen would like to say you might be TBW's hardcore champion, but you are not Dustin Alexander. you go facts and everything? Did you defy the odds against Mac 10 and Jimmy Controversy? But you didn't have to do that. You didn't have to. You're hardcore.
I'm better than Dustin Alexander. Has he actually proved what I have? Yeah, he might have faced a guy like Jimmy Controversy, but he has to prove it to me. I'm the real hardcore champion here, not him. Even Jacob Young could probably testify that I'm the real hardcore champion here.
I mean, I passed out.
Oh, and he literally passed out. There he goes. I was about to say, maybe he just passed out from there. You go. We were wondering if you passed out basically again on the stream there. But what were you saying there, Mr. Young?
I said I passed out. I didn't tap out. Didn't get pinned. You basically had to make me unable to continue.
That's what I did. And if you step in my way again, I would surely do it again.
But you're not contractually obligated to face Mr. Young. Mr. Young's, he has to work his way back up. So obviously you've got other things to focus on. You've got to basically go and focus on yourself because you're at the top of this sport right now. I mean, you're the guy. I mean, listen, we don't need a world title right now. I mean, you got the hardcore title. But at the end of the day, that's the title that people want. At the end of the day, from what I've seen in the last 9 or 10 days on Sportswire, when the Atomic Titans name, the Atomic freaking Titans name is mentioned, everybody goes wild. Everybody's got something to say. Everybody's thinking about it. And everybody wants to be the man with the gold. Everybody wants to be the man with the money. Everybody's the man that wants to have the women. And the Atomic freaking Titans, the guy that has it. He's the guy that's got what Jacob Young, what Joe Anderson, what Joshua Allen, what Fat Asian, what Alan Michaels, what Shane Davidson, despite his claims that he didn't want gold. Everybody wants what this man has right now. It's a simple fact. If you're in this sport and you don't want gold, you're in the wrong business. And everybody that's here on Sportswire wants what this man has. I mean, what do you say to that, Mr. Young?
As I said on TPW, maybe I'm focused on a different type of gold.
Okay, well, you know what? I mean, maybe that could be the case. I mean, I want to say hello to my buddy Ron here. Thank you, Ron, for tuning in. Also, I want to say hello also to everybody out there that's following TBW. And I want you to continue to follow Tennessee Backyard Wrestling on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook at Tennessee Backyard Wrestling, YouTube at TBW 2017. We've just hit the 6,000 subscriber mark. So again, congratulations to everybody that continues to support Tennessee Backyard Wrestling, even the likes of Joshua Allen and certainly Mr. Young, Mr. Anderson, Mr. Wooman Gage Flair, and the Prophet Jay Wild and Alan Michaels and Shane Davidson, the Atomic freaking Titan, a who's who of stars that all over the world people watch. As we're coming toward the end of the show here, I want to go and come back to you, Mr. Titan. You know, is there anything that you wanted to say? I know you talked about this announcement I heard a few minutes ago. Now, anything else you might want to address before we get ready to sign off here for the evening? Because I know you have a lot to say still.
Well, I will say this, Tom. As your hardcore king, people talk about me all the time is because they want to be me. They can't come to the fact that they need to respect me and show me that respect. People want to, whine and complain about that. They want to, text me over Instagram saying this, that, oh, that turtleneck looks stupid, and they just don't know fashion like me. They don't have what it takes to be a champion. They don't want to dress the part, be the part, look the part. But at the end of the day, come season 8, they're gonna respect me for what I truly am, and that's the best in Tennessee Backyard Wrestling. And that's a shot right there at Gage Flair or anybody else that wants to come on here and say that they're the best. Even in backyard wrestling, you can look me right in the eyes right now. I'll tell you I'm the best. And I prove it every single week I'm out there or wherever I go. If you have a problem, you can come up to me directly and say it to my face. but I bet you're not going to. And that's why, at the end of the day, I have the gold and you don't. Nobody does. And I'm going to show
Well, you
you
know
what
what?
it's like to be a champion.
You know what? I'll say this before I move on shortly. I will say this. Find me a wrestler right now, whether it's in the yard, whether it's in the independents, whether it's in, I don't know, semi pro, underground, WWE, that every single week comes on and addresses the crowds, wrestles in the ring, defends his championship, goes out there and does what this man does, the atomic freaking titan. When you come back to me, I guarantee you by the time you get that answer, you'll be well into 2024 because there isn't anybody right now in this sport that's doing what the atomic freaking titan is doing, going out there every single week, wrestling in different promotions, going out there and addressing the people. He doesn't have to do that, unlike another champion that we see that used to be a part of Titan built offices, Titan studios, whatever you want to call it out there in Connecticut. No, the atomic freaking titan is the guy that does all that stuff here. And my lovely friend here, Xena, compares you to Robin. She actually compares you to Robin, the Batman character. So you
Okay.
maybe got that going for you. But I'm going to come back to you, Mr. Young, in a second. But Mr. Allen wants to say that, again, it isn't about the belt in my case, Tom. Like I said, this feud has been going on for 6.5 long years, and one day it will be finished. You left while I carried the company until you came back.
Oh my God.
All
All you're
right,
talking about
I
is
see
this
that.
comeback. Nobody wants to see you in the ring, Joshua Allen. I don't know why you can't come to terms with that. I want you to sit on the
Well,
sideline and think very hard about it. Once you step to me, well, what happened?
but you know, Mr. Titan, Mr. Titan, I have one slight follow up on that. You know, as I'm sure you're aware of, on Sunday's show, Mr. Allen was here live on Sportswire, and we had asked him this question. Well, you know, if you weren't doing anything, we have this big show coming up at Resurrection Wrestling, January the 27th, called Lockdown. And I was trying to see if Mr. Allen could be locked down to show up. And if he was able to show up, would he want to have a chat with you? Would he want to have maybe a friendly conversation, a fireside chat, as one used to have? And Mr. Allen, you know, he thought about it. He didn't give us a yes, but he didn't give us a no. I mean, what did you think about Mr. Allen's answer to that?
I mean, is he here right now? Can you bring him in here? Because I would like to. I mean, if you can bring him in here,
I would be happy to listen, Mr.
I
Young.
would
Would
say
you
his
would
face.
you would you like to see him, Mr. Young?
I wouldn't. Sure.
Well, I'll bring him on then. I'll bring Mr. Allen here live for the audience very shortly. All I have to do is pull a magic button. And for those that are listening and watching on Sportswire Radio, you'll get to see Joshua Allen live in the flesh and wound once again. It'll almost be so. Maybe Mr. Titan, you'll wish him happy birthday.
He don't deserve that.
So you wouldn't wish him a happy birthday then?
No, I wish him the worst day ever.
Oh, so do you think this might
He
be
has
his
to
worst
deal with that
birthday yet?
every time you do a promo.
Well, we wait for Mr. Allen. He has one comment here. He says, "You say you're the best. Been saying it for 6.5 years, but you'll never be the heart and soul of TBW. Been
Why,
that ever since TBW began."
why do I have to be the heart and soul? I mean, that's such a ridiculous statement. You know I'm the best, and I've been proving it for the past, 6 years.
You're
Even
the only Grand Slam winner in company history. Hey,
even while I was gone for 7 months, people were still talking about me, wanting me to be on the marquee at the top of TBW.
you know, and I'll even go further, sir. You know what? I'll give you your respect right now. Every time I do a show, even when it's the guys in, let's say, Iowa, the guys in Michigan or these other states, right, that might be yarders, right?
Yep.
Who do they always talk about? The atomic freaking titan.
It's because I'm undeniable talent, and people see talent. I mean, they might say some bad things about me, like, you know,
Because you know why they say those things? Don't even mention them on the air. You know, I'm going to actually do it for you. They actually say those things because they know who gets the ratings, who gets the social media following, who gets the engagements, who gets the championships, who gets the fame, who gets the glory, who gets all of that has made you at the top of this sport for as long as you've had. It's you. That's the simple reasons why those people, whether it's down south, whether it's in the Midwest, whether it's in the Mid-Atlantic, whether it's in the Northeast, that's why.
About a few months ago, I was watching a company from Indiana that, I think someone like shouted me out, said like, if you want to prove to be the best or whatever, then come and show it.
Yes. In fact, that company from Indiana is coming on Thursday. They're coming on Thursday night, Indiana. Yeah.
Corey Lee.
Yeah. He was on my show about a month ago. Yes. Corey Lee. Yes.
I've met him, but I've never like had a face-to-face confrontation with him. And, I believe I've reached out to XCW as well. And if they want to make that happen against anybody, even on their roster, I'll show up and show them I'm the hardcore king and that I'm the best. And that I'll be the best talent in XCW. So if they want that, you know where I'm at.
Well, I'll tell you what. I can make that happen for you. I can certainly ask the powers that be in Indiana, in Shelbyville, Indiana, to break the fourth wall. I'll ask him Thursday night. I'll bring you up. Mr. Lee, by the way, spoiler alert, he's coming back next month to Sportswire Radio. He's coming back. I'll make sure that he hears about it. Mr. Young.
Mr. Clayton, I have a question.
Shoot.
So you say you're a fighting champion, but on the last episode, we just seen you talk more.
I didn't.
But
I didn't want to wrestle.
I want you to go in that ring, and I want you to prove you're the champion. Make an open challenge.
I don't have to prove anything.
Because you know you want to.
Look, I didn't want to wrestle the last episode. I didn't feel like it. Maybe my stomach was a little upset that day.
I know it's winter season coming in. People are worried about the flu. Yeah, I understand.
The flu or something.
Okay.
Yeah,
you know you want to. Just pull the right strings. Come on.
You know what, Jacob Young? Something you'll have to come to realize is that, people only need to see me like at certain times wrestle because, that's only when they deserve it. Because you see, I'm such a big star in Tennessee backyard wrestling that I have that kind of treatment. I don't get out there. I don't gotta go out there.
Well, speaking of treatment, before we sign off for the evening.
And where's Josh at? Where's he at?
Well, I was about to get to that. He's decided that the time is now for him. He can't wait no more, and he's alive.
You are the best at one thing. That's running that shop of yours. That's all thing you're good at is running that big mouth. You've been pretty good at that for 6.5 long years. That's all you can do. Every time you come on a Sportswire, every time on a Rampage or Resurrection, all you do is run your mouth. Look, I will give you credit where credit is due on one thing. When people talk about this brand, there's one person that comes up. You. Not a respect factor. Not a respect factor. Keep that in mind. I'll give you credit on one thing. When people think of this organization, there's a few list of people that is on that category. I'm one of them as well. But you're a TBW original, just like myself, just like Clay, just like the old originals that have left this organization and gone on to the real world, do what they in real life. But you're still here. You came back at the state, at a point in time. Yeah, maybe I did thought you'd had a change of heart. Maybe, yeah, okay, a new leaf, et cetera, et cetera. But then Young up here got in your ear, whatever I'm not blaming you, Young. I'm not blaming you. But maybe a little bit part in it, a little bit at all. a little bit apart. But it's only a matter of time. I've said this and I'll say it again. It's only time that a real guy will show his true colors. A snake always sheds his skin in the end, and the result was of what you became at All Hallows Mania 3. And ever since Ever since then, you want to say it's jealousy, you want to say it's envy, say it's hatred, but then you want to go on Instagram and get personal. You want to get personal.
Yeah, I
You
did.
want to make. You want to get personal. You want to get personal with
I
me.
wanted to ruffle your feathers a little bit.
You know what?
'Cause you
Congratulations. You
disrespecting-
did just that.
You're just
You
disrespecting.
did.
That's all it
You
is.
done. No. You
That's
have
what-
been what?
The lines have been drawn. We can clearly see
And
the
strings
last
have
few
been pulled.
weeks, the lines have been drawn with the two of you. There's no more of, hey, let's try to hide the disdain for each other. It's clear that TBW right now in this company, the company that everybody wishes to be, the company that everybody watches, the Atomic freaking Titan and Joshua Allen, I don't know long term if you guys can coexist. I don't know.
Well, I don't want that Tom when he left to go to the underground or go to what was it BCW and
Yes.
try to get relevancy there. You tried there. You became a talk host, didn't you, Troy? A talk host. The Atomic
Yes,
mic drop.
Who's
Yeah.
Troy? Wait.
Yeah. No, he
You wanna-
wants to get personal. He wants to get personal. Let's shoot. Let's get personal, Tom. You want to get personal,
I
Titan?
was a
Okay,
good
let's
talk
go
show
there.
host, wasn't I? I was a good one, wasn't I?
You was shit. You've always
Yeah,
been
I
shit.
wasn't-
Pardon my language.
Hold up a second. Listen, I don't even believe I was a talk show host. I believe I was actually a guest. I believe at that time.
Yeah, you tried to make that place relevant. What happened? You killed that place. It no longer exists. You went to UWA, the forbidden door moment. Went to UWA, trying to make a name for yourself there. What happened there? You left that damn place. You came back here, and I thought, like I said, I thought you had a change of heart. But yet again, you have always will be a little snot-nosed, egotistical piece of shit. You even had the industry at one point over there. You want to shoot, cowboy? Let's shoot. That's something that we created, you asswipe. We started that, and you just made a watered-down version of that over in the other place.
Had nothing to do or created. That was actually my idea.
Speak up.
Good follow-up, but I see what you're trying to do, though. But the facts are, Mr. Allen, that Mr. Titan is here, and those competitors in places like in Iowa, Wisconsin, Indiana, Michigan, they want to talk about the Atomic Titan. They want to talk about Tennessee Backyard Wrestling. They're not talking about Jacob Young. They're not talking about the party animal Fat Asian. They're not even talking about the Nature Boy Gage Flair, Mr. Woo Man. They're talking about the Atomic freaking Titan.
Well, people like to talk, and apparently Titan has been a hot topic around the wrestling circuit ever since he won this thing. And people like to talk, and people's also been, Omen Black from IMF has laid down the challenge.
And he's here Friday, and he's going to talk about the fact that he's put his body through blood, he's put himself through tables, barbed wire. He's the hardcore king. He's going to talk about. He's going to talk, and he's going to be here live to talk about the fact that IMF is the standard bearer. They're the ones that are going everywhere. They're the ones with the summer blast, and they're going to say that TBW doesn't want the IMF's heat. That's what he's going to say, and he's going to address the Atomic Titan.
Am I going to have to show up there, Tom, and show him who the real, true hardcore king is?
But from what I understand, there's a long list of people that might want to say something to Mr. Black, apparently, from what I've heard through the grapevine, because there are people, from what I've heard through the grapevine, that may have had enough. I don't know. Might be a reason why to tune in 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time Friday.
Well, a lot of people has been on the Atomic Titan campaign. You got people that respect him and people don't. Of course, we all know what category I'm in at the current moment, have always been. But nevertheless, you are the hardcore champion. You won it. He didn't tap out. He passed out. So Jacob Young is not, former hardcore champion. He's in the back of the line. So that leaves only one guy. And like I said, I saw the altercation backstage between you and Anderson,
I brought it
and
up.
with me being the CEO of this place, and of course, working with Beast, in the behind the scenes, I could talk with Beast and maybe get a matchup booked between you and the Grim Reaper if possible. Because honestly, and I've stated this until that you won that belt, if Jacob Young wasn't injected, like I said, Jacob, I got no beef with you, nothing, no issue with you at
Let me
all.
guess, I wouldn't have won.
Anderson would have been the new hardcore champion. Okay,
Listen,
that's
I'm
my
tired
fact.
of disrespect. That's all you've given me all season. Remember that
This
headshot you get? Yeah. And all the words you said to me? Yeah, you think we're done.
And by the way, I want to break it here. Commissioner Beast is live. He's here.
He's here?
Commissioner, he's here.
Oh, my God.
Commissioner Beast is here. He's apparently, from what we've heard, he's had enough. He has had enough with the games. He is sick and tired of what's going on here. He has seen show after show on Sportswire where wrestlers have tried to make their own matches. He's sick and tired of it. He's putting his foot down, and he is here, and he is ready to lay down the law. The commissioner, the sheriff, the Beast is here live, and that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. He's had it. He's had it.
Are you bringing him in, or is he, like, in the comments?
He's just in the comments. He's here.
Okay, like, I was going to say, like, if you want to come in here.
But he's here, though. But the reason that he's here in the comments is my point taken. That Commissioner Beast is fed up because he saw Alan Michaels and Shane Davidson try to go into business for themselves. He's seen what's happened between you and Jacob Young. He's seen Jacob Young talk about the fact that Jacob Young tonight has talked about maybe he's the one pulling the strings. Maybe Jacob Young's the one that's mid-management. Jacob Young's the one that's responsible for this, and that. We've seen Mr. Allen and you, Mr. Titan, show after show confront each other. We even saw a guy who didn't even work here last week try to pop in James Taylor, a relic from yesteryear. I mean, the point is that Commissioner Beast, he's had it. He's had it, and he's here, and he's keeping a close eye on things. And that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Tom, I'm still trying to. I'm under the investigation of what happened between Jay Watt and that mystery man of the handshake. I'm still trying to wrap my mind around that scenario. I'm still trying to figure out who that a person is because
I tried to ask Mr. Young, Mr. Young. I tried to ask that very question too in the middle of the show. I tried to ask that question about you. I specifically asked, "Hey, how about you and Mr. Wild?" And Mr. Young gave what Mr. Young does best: talks in riddles.
Well, I know one thing. There was one guy, Johnny J. I guess he's the new press. I guess he got the scoop of a video footage
Johnny
of.
J. By the way, at least he got back his
the trombone. Yeah, loose of the trombone. And but yeah, Johnny J. he got footage. I guess he tried to get it, see what happened with the altercation, but he didn't get close enough. I don't blame him because.
As we're coming toward the end of the show, I have an idea, fellas, if you don't mind. Because we're live on Sportswire. We're talking Tennessee Backyard Wrestling. And Mr. Beast has a comment. I see now it's starting to get interesting. Now people are starting to come back into the conversation. And I'm going to ask Mr. Beast something once I pull up his comment. So let me read his comment here first, fellas. He says, "This sounds like kindergartners angry at each other." So here's my proposal. All right, I'm going to do something to try to rectify the situation, or try to, right? I'm going to try to take a halfway approach, or a third way, as they would famously say. If Commissioner Beast, if he was interested sometime on Sportswire, and he wanted to address many of these things going on, if he wanted to lay down the law, and to try to get us back in balance, to try to get everything working again, if Mr. Beast wanted to come on Sportswire sometime and address all of these characters, whether it's Mr. Young, Mr. Titan, Mr. Anderson, Mr. Allen, the other boss, Mr. Davidson, Mr. Michaels, whoever else is out there, I'll give him the floor. I'll give him a forum to speak anytime on Sportswire. So if that's what Commissioner Beast wants, and he wants to address things to try to put his foot down And to get us back into order, as the host of the Sports Report, your voice of all wrestling, the Reverend Tom Bryce, the owner of Sportswire Radio, the #1 global radio station, Commissioner Beast, I give you that opportunity anytime.
All right. Well, um, since Josh wants to, not talk about the real attraction of TBW, I'll talk about myself a little bit.
Oh, for God's sake.
I believe I have
No, you can turn him off now.
an
Turn him
announcement.
off.
Okay, well, you know what? I'll tell you what I will do. I'll tell you what I will do. I'll give everybody a shot to say a few final words, and we'll move on, and we'll wait to see if Commissioner Beast would like to accept the opportunity on Sportswire anytime to address a number of these things. So, but that being said, any publicity is good publicity, and that's the point I made about Mr. Titan. And the fact is, people from all over the place in this sport, they have Atomic freaking Titan's name in his mouth right now. Now, with that being said, I'm going to give everybody an opportunity to say a few final thoughts. I'm going to go with you first, Jacob Young, because really it was your show tonight, by the way. It was actually your show, Jacob Young. You used to be Jacob Anderson, you used to be the Black Fox, but now you're Jacob Young. As I continue to say, I hope you don't change your name to just Jacob or just Young. But I'm going to give you the opportunity now to say any final thoughts, anything else you might want to say to the people here, to anybody in the TBW universe, whatever else you might want to say, or anything else you want to plug. And the floor is yours, sir.
All right. Well, I'll definitely say go watch TBW. Tune in. We just hit 6K. Thank you very much, people, for that. We're happy to have the fans that we have. I'll address something now before I address it in the ring, actually. I was going to make a little statement on the next episode, but I think I'll share it here live first. What people didn't know is in that match, when you made me pass out, you actually hurt me. And I've been injured for the second time. You hurt my neck. You hurt the bloodline that makes me go. So, again, I respect you for that. But what I don't respect you for is spitting on my head after the match.
Yeah, real class.
You deserved it anyways. So
All I have to
watch me what I do.
I'm done.
You're on the shelf anyways. So I mean, your opinion doesn't really matter. And that's to you as well, Josh, because you're on the sidelines too, buddy. But
Anything
what I
else?
want to say is,
Go ahead, Mr.
if
Titan.
I kind of hurt somebody or something, maybe they deserved it because it's a hardcore match. I had to put you through it. So if you have any thoughts on that, Jacob Young, you can say.
I don't have no ill will. You did exactly what I wanted you to. And somebody, it could be me, it could be Jay Wild, it could be Commissioner Beast himself, it could be Joshua Allen, it could be you, Atomic Titan. Somebody is pulling strings. And I have been called the puppet master by Jay Ross, the commentator. Am I the true puppet master? Who's pulling the strings? Maybe I'm just a guy who's there to wrestle and earn respect. Maybe I'm just a guy who wants to hold a new title. Because I'm pretty much done with the hardcore championship. I have no other reason to hold it anymore. I've held it twice. Once I had to give it up because I was hurt. Second time, I lost it fair and square. I'm done. The hardcore championship. I want something new. I want new competition. I want new blood. And I want to make everyone know my name, just like they know yours, Mr. Titan. I want everybody to be saying Jacob Young in every conversation that they have.
Well, I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, I think that they're going to start to after tonight live on Sportswire Radio in knowing who Jacob Young is. And you can do that by following him on Instagram at Jacob Young 4446 and check him out, a part of Tennessee Backyard Wrestling, as they get ready for Rampage 156 and the season finale show, which will air later in the month of December. Jacob Young definitely made a lot of noise tonight. He definitely made a lot of statements. Some of them I still think are in riddles. But what I learned at the end of the day is that Jacob Young is definitely a major player in Tennessee Backyard Wrestling going forward. And I have no doubt you're going to not only hear a lot more of him here on Sportswire Radio, but definitely in any title picture he wants in this company. Before I move on to Mr. Titan's final words, Commissioner Beast has said that his official announcement is after the season finale, he will come on to Sportswire Radio. So there you have it. Commissioner Beast will be on here sometime early in 2024. We will talk about where we go from here, and that'll be a real treat to get the law of the land, the man that certainly will keep everything in order here and makes Tennessee Backyard Wrestling the place to be. We're looking forward to hearing from the great Commissioner Beast. But Mr. Titan, we want to respect you one more time by giving you some closing thoughts. Anything else you want to plug, share, or say? So we definitely want to respect you here as our hardcore king and our only Grand Slam winner in TBW history. So the floor is yours.
The last thing I want to say to the backyard wrestling community is that I'm the best. When you see me on the screen, you know who I am. I don't even have to say it. It's to all the people out there, the Aaron Blazes, the people, the Joshua Allens,
Is Jack Delta still alive these days? I mean, is he a name we could mention still? Is he out there?
I have no.
I guess I don't know.
I don't know.
Craven Rage. I mean, Craven Rage. I mean, he's a name always talks about you, Atomic Titan. Craven Rage. I mean, Omen Black. You mentioned his name. Corey Lee. You mentioned. I mean, a lot of names out there in the backyard wrestling universe.
People, but this is to the people like not specifically like that want to like disrespect me or anything, but you know, I think I deserve respect for who I am. I've been doing this for the past almost 7 years, and I want that respect. And I want that respect from even you, Josh. But you know
Good
what?
luck trying. Good luck trying.
My final thought to you is, Josh, before I go on to something else to talk about, I would like to see you in the ring, face to face with me. You can bring your sorry excuse of a brother, your mother, your father.
What have I told you about that?
Anybody else that wants to, you know, come out there and, you know, I'll make you all bow down to your hardcore king. At the end of the day, I'm going to get that respect. And you can say I go too far, but you know how far we've went in the past and how personal we've taken it. But, you know, get on your cowboy boots, your cowboy hat. I seen your brother with his little bull rope he has. Tell him to come out there. Because at the end of the day, you all will respect me. Everyone in backyard wrestling will give me the importance and everything else that comes with it. Because I'm going to show exactly who I am going into Season 8, 2024, 2025 on. Because you know what? At the end of the day, I believe after 2024, I'm not going to be on TBW as much. I'm going to take a little time off. But until then, you better enjoy what I have to offer. Because at the end of the day, you're going to miss me. Do you have any thoughts, Josh?
Well, I'll definitely be doing some cartwheels today. You be taking time off. That's a guaranteed fact. Anyway, long story short,
But that's down the road, buddy.
well, it's down the road. Blah blah blah. Anyway, you know, you've had the audacity to mention my family, mention my brother, even my relatives who have passed on from this world, which that was a low blow, real low
It look like
blow.
a bear.
You don't. That's the key. But the bottom line is this. So my last thoughts or statements here. I want to thank the fans for the 6K subscribers. Without y'all, we wouldn't be here. That's a guaranteed fact.
That's a big accomplishment.
Big-
6,000 is massive.
I want to thank myself for that.
I'll
if
get
Josh-
over
if
your-
How
Josh
about
didn't
Jacob
have-
Young? And Jacob Young too. Got to give him a little thanks. He's been there. He's been there a while.
I could. You know what I mean, Josh? Yeah, your hardcore king. If the hardcore king wasn't here, there probably wouldn't be 6,000 subscribers.
Oh, for fuck's sake. You're so full of your own stuff and shit. But anyway,
Yeah.
long story short, I want to thank the fans because the fans matter, whether you think so or not, asswipe.
They
Well,
turned back on me.
Long story short, I want to thank the folks there, wherever you may be in the world. Thank you for the 6K subscribers. I want to thank the boys in the back, including you, for once in my life. For once, just a little bit. And this coming up soon will be the final taping for Rampage of this year, and then also in December of next month will be Seasonality 7, the 7th annual Seasonality 7, when Seasonality 7 goes Hollywood, a Hollywood-based type theme for Seasonality this year. And like I said earlier in the broadcast here, the final two men of the Gold Rush will face off in the main event. There will be a new world champion. Bet you bomb dollar on that one.
Oh, I cannot wait on that. I cannot wait. And there is somebody else who wants to say something, and it wouldn't be a show without James Taylor trying to come in here. And he says Titan needs to wear a turtleneck.
Bro, I thought he actually liked it. Then he came on here and said he respected me or something like that. See,
So
now
I guess-
people want to be wishy-washy. They can't make up their mind.
So,
Maybe he needs a turtleneck.
Do you think he could fit into one though?
I don't know. I would say probably he probably could get one, but he probably don't have a neck. Or even Josh over here don't even have a neck. So no.
So then, should we end it on that note? Because I'm sure Mr. Taylor would love to always say something, but it's up to you, fellas. I mean,
If you want to bring him on, it's up to y'all.
It's Tom's show.
I'll bring him on for a few minutes if Mr. Taylor keeps it quick, short, to the point. I'm sure James wouldn't be a party without James Taylor, so I guess we might as well, as we're kind of like if you're in a bar and it's the last call, almost it's the last call in the bar. And I think I gave the wrong link to Mr. Taylor, so now Mr. Taylor may have it. So we'll let Mr. Taylor say a few thoughts before we sign off. I'm sure some of the people tuned in, like the lovely Xena, who's basically saying that TBW, everybody needs to go subscribe to. Yeah, that's right. So if you're out there in Brooklyn, you're out there in the UK, you're out there and all over the world, watch Jacob Young, watch the Atomic Titan, watch Joshua Allen. Watch Commissioner Beast, watch the Party Animal Fat Asian, watch Gage Flair, watch Alan Michaels. Well, watch them all. We definitely watch Gage Flair. I guess Mr. Wu Man. And Johnny J. Can't forget about Johnny J. The Prophet J Wild. I know you definitely like the Prophet J Wild.
No.
Well, Mr. Young does. Mr. Young does.
Hey, Mike.
Watch them all. But while we wait for Mr. Taylor to say a few things, I want everybody one more time. Tennessee Backyard Wrestling, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, TBW 2017. We'll have more Tennessee Backyard Wrestling coverage coming up as we get toward the season finale. And if you're on sportswireradio.org, I'll be back 3 p.m. Eastern time with the Stompers, and then Thursday, 3 o'clock Eastern time with the newest member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, the natural-born fighter, R.P. Davis, British boxing world champion turned professional wrestling champion. So, Mr. Taylor, I'm going to give you like 30 seconds. Hope you can bounce on. Otherwise, we're going to say sayonara because my voice is about to say sayonara. So I'm going to give you the count of 30 seconds.
I can feel that. I lost my voice last night.
All right. Well, that's kind of right now my moment here. So, Mr. Taylor, I do want to give you the count of 30, but until then, I want to thank everybody that's tuned in, and I look forward to the
Not at
future. Well,
all.
he's here. He's here. James Taylor wouldn't be a party without you. You're on the clock. You're like the 2-minute drill here in football.
Why is there a clock? Why is there a clock when I come
Because
on?
my voice is tired, man, and you came in late. And these guys have been here battling out. But the floor is yours. What do you want to say?
Well, I just wanted to say, Titan.
I thought you liked him, though.
You know what?
Yeah,
I
you
do
said
like
you
you.
respected me,
I
you
want
old
to tag
fart.
up, but like he said, he wanted me to join him. But Titan, I don't want to join you.
Do you
I
work
think you
for
should join
TBW,
me.
though? Are you a TBW employee, or are you a New
I'm
South
a free.
employee?
I'm a free agent. You know, whatever happens, happens. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Titan needs just. Let me see your other eye, man. Do you have another eye? I'm glad you.
Yeah,
Hey,
you
I
seen it
did
earlier.
notice. I did notice that you lost the sunglasses. Thank God you don't.
Oh, the sunglasses are over there. I've got remember, I've got told not
Spoke
to wear
too soon,
No, he's
James.
cleaning the
Over my
glasses.
head.
He's cleaning the sunglasses. He's
Yeah, I'm
cleaning.
cleaning them.
He's
Yeah,
cleaning them. Yeah, give him a
You'll-
chance.
you'll see them next week on Rampage.
I can't wait.
Oh God.
How you doing, Jacob? You doing all right?
I'm doing good, sir. How about you?
You see how he said "sir" to me? That's respect, Titan. That's respect. You know, I respect you too, Jacob, and good congrats to you. I hope you kick his ass next time you're in the ring with him. What's up, Josh? How you doing, Mr. Allen? You doing all right? I like the hat. I dig the hat.
Still kicking. Doing good, James.
Yeah, can't wait to see you put your big greasy paw against Titan's throat. But Titan, I have to give you a hard time because that's what's making you one of the top guys. You know, look at you. Look at you. Oh well. Anyways, how you doing, Tom? Tom's nice to meet you.
Nice to
I've
meet
already
you.
met
I've
you.
never heard of you before. I mean, do you want to explain yourself to who you might be and what you might have a reason for here to address these three gentlemen that
Yeah,
have
tell
certain...
me.
Yeah, who are you?
Because my name is the Nemesis James Taylor, and I do
Who?
what I want when I want. Period. It's like I've got a lot of loose ends to tie up, and TBW is still in my back pocket, and I'll show up whenever and however I want to. Snapping my fingers, I'll show up in that ring, and you know what?
You're definitely not showing up to face me because, like I said, you're gonna have to earn
It doesn't matter if I show up to face you. I don't have to face you for nothing. I could
Yeah,
just
because
get
you're
in the
scared.
ring.
You don't want to show up
realize
and
that
face me.
James
You wouldn't even.
Taylor's hold on. You realize that James Taylor's stunner is rated E for everyone, right? I hope you understand that.
You wouldn't even show up to face Jacob Young. That's how scared you are to come to TBW.
I got no beef with Jacob Young. He ain't done
But I
nothing
would
to
gladly
upset me.
face
Well,
you.
you know,
I
Mr.
would
Taylor,
gladly
some might
face you in
say,
a match.
but you know, Mr. Taylor,
I
it's
would shake
interesting.
your hand and face you in a match.
But you know, Mr.
Like a
Taylor,
man.
it's interesting that Mr. Titan says on who to face people, but the last we saw you in a ring, we continue to bring it up. One man that could potentially very well be the next world champion in TVW was the man I've heard through the grapevine that ran you out of town in Jay Wild the Prophet. Is that true? I mean, that's the last that we saw you was the Prophet Jay Wild.
He's one of the semifinalists.
Yep, and he could be the next world champion. He, ran you out of the building.
You know, that's real
what some
cute.
say.
Tom, I thought you were on my side, kid.
I am on
mean,
your side.
you
That's
know,
what I've heard through the grapevine.
That's what you
I
heard.
love
Well,
you.
let me clean your ears out because you heard the wrong thing. Let me tell
All right,
you
tell
from the
us.
veteran himself.
All right,
Nobody
yes,
ran me out of town. It was the fact that I was injured and got hurt. So maybe James Taylor was put on the shelf, and I quietly went out for a little while.
That's a good point.
And Jay Wild went off and did what he's done. Look at what's going on. Just like I always say, you can make a career off of a win over the Nemesis James Taylor. It ain't hurting me. And look where Profit's going now. So if anything, he owes me for where he's at today. But I tell you what, if I wanted to show up at season finale, I damn sure would if I wanted to. Not saying it's going to happen, not saying I have time to, but hey, never say never. If I decided to jerk the curtain and come right on out, I'll do it. And can't nobody stop me. Not no turtleneck there, not Mr.
You don't think so?
Paintmaker there, and not no Jacob Young Fox there. Ain't nobody gonna stop me. I'll do what I want because I cannot stop at what I do. Because I am the Tyrant King in all of wrestling. Period. I don't know what you're talking about, mop hair boy.
You're not
You
a
sit
king.
there with the little
That's the
red
thing you
strap
need to
on your shoulder.
understand.
You
You're
ain't
not a
nothing
king.
impressive.
Well, is it
You're
fair
not a
to say
king at
that you know
all.
the address to TBW's headquarters? Is that what you're telling us, that you actually know the address?
Yeah, I
You're
know
not
the
a
address.
king.
I know the address.
Can you please stop calling yourself a king? That's not. You're not even comparing.
I am the
Not
Tyrant
compared to
King,
one.
and you should acknowledge me. You should understand
Acknowledge
the
you.
fact that I am everything that I say I am. What are you?
I've
You're a little.
said everything.
I'm gonna go really old school here. You are what they call a pencil neck geek. That's what you are.
Geek.
Yeah.
Do you hear this ridiculous statement you just made? The disrespect, dude.
I swear, if I was
When
in your
I
face,
see you,
I
I'm gonna
would probably
slap you in the
spit.
face like I did Chaotic.
I would sure hope it would be a lot harder than what you slapped him.
So it sounds like maybe, Mr. Taylor, you might want to eventually see the building again. Maybe
You know, maybe Tom. Maybe I'm just coming in here trying to stir the pot a little bit.
Well,
It's
you know
okay,
what?
though.
I think people enjoy it. You know, it's always good to see you. I wish you would have came earlier, but it's always good to see you, James Taylor. I mean, you know, I think obviously it's nice to see you. It's good that you have a pulse. It's good that you're obviously out there. We hope maybe to see Jacob Young on the Nemesis session soon. We hope maybe to see some other people, like maybe Mr. Michaels, Mr. Davidson on the Nemesis sessions. Maybe you want to see the Atomic freaking Titan and show respect. Show respect to the Hardcore King. Mr. Allen maybe is available. Commissioner Beast even says he's doing interviews starting next year. There's plenty of talent to go around to talk with, and you know, just saying, Nemesis sessions, and we've got hundreds of thousands
of you three jackasses. Who's the first one that wants to be the next guest on the Nemesis session? Go ahead, raise your hand. First one, raise. Oh, Jacob raised his hand first. It looks like he beats you two to it. So I guess that means Jacob Young can be a guest if that's what he really wants.
You'd have to pay me to be on there.
I'd love to talk to you, kid, but we're not here to promote my product. We're here to talk about Tom, the Reverend Tom Bryce, because this is his show.
No, it's not. It's the people. No, it's the people's show. It's the people's show, and the people love the Atomic Titan.
Did you put some highlights in your hair? Your hair looks a little real brown.
Who's mine or his?
Yours.
It might be the lighting.
No, it's the lights. I have 6 new lights now, so you're seeing.
Yeah, there you go. He's going places. You're sitting there with your little.
I'm going places too.
What are you talking
about? I'm your hardcore champion.
Time out. You don't like. He's got the Beatles look though. It worked for Ringo, John, Paul, and George. It worked for.
Titan looks like that little bastard. I just want to go up.
That's a slap. That's a slap in the face of the Beatles, for God's sake.
Shut up,
but he's the Beatles of TBW, though. He's the John, Paul, Ringo, and George of TBW.
Titan, how much you charge for? Like, can I get a picture with you when I come down next time?
It'll probably be about $20.
Can you put it on Josh's tab?
Hell no, not my tab.
I have a better follow-up.
Yeah, you say you're the owner there. You
could put. Listen, I have a better follow-up for you. You could put that on the Nature Boy Gage Flair's bar tab next time he goes out. Hey, and he wouldn't notice. He wouldn't notice because he's out in the town. He's probably out there in the whole Tennessee right now, going out there doing the woo, the strutting, got the head down with Johnny J playing the trombone. I mean, listen, they're going to be out till 3, 4 in the morning. So just stick the bill on the Nature Boy Gage Flair.
They're going to be out there till 3 or 4 in the morning, probably at a Waffle House eating all you can buffets. They ain't out there partying. I don't know what you're thinking about that. Those two big bastards probably break the damn dance floor walking on it. Now, Jacob, I like you.
He said, listen, on the last Rampage show, the Nature Boy said to Commissioner Beast, to Johnny J, let's go. We got a party. So as far as what I've heard, he's out partying right now. He told us
they're partying at the all-night buffet, getting all the damn snow crab legs they could get, eating all the egg rolls they could get, all the oodles and noodles. That's what they do.
Can you imagine if Fat Asian's there also in that bar? Could you imagine?
I can see that.
I'd be there with a clothespin on my nose because the BO from that bastard.
That wouldn't surprise me. I'll be honest with you.
You know what? People are saying hello, so I'll say hello to Jason Storm, who was victorious against ADT in ROBW show. Wildcard checking. If anyone says anything negative about me in the chat or on air, I'll sue you. Lawsuit number 15 can have your name on it. Well, he's
well, then sue me. You're a crybaby. You're another comic. Sue me.
Hold on.
There you go.
I'll say one thing. Jason Storm, I've seen what you've been doing over the past month or two, kid. I saw the I saw the thing in the cemetery with your mother. All due respect, I saw what you did in the church.
How
But
about
you know what?
ADT? How about what he did to ADT?
I
ADT came on here and said, I'm going to beat everybody up. I'm the king of the backyard. I'm the greatest. And he put him out to pasture. I mean, listen,
Yeah.
Jason Storm, like him or not, he put him out to pasture. And now who knows what happens with him?
I just wanted to say that to you, Jason Storm, and I hope that
Whoa, don't be
if I
disrespectful.
That's
ever
not
ended
how.
up
But I
in
would think you would.
Michigan,
But
I promise you, this Alabama boy ain't gonna be like ADT. I'd go in there and I'd knock your ass out. Period.
so the
People
home
from
security,
Alabama are morons anyway.
so the home security system, then you think didn't work out too well then for him.
That's right. That's right.
Fair enough here. My last comment here, a lovely woman here who definitely could be a warrior princess says, those are the best buffets, and thanks you for the show. Anything else you fellas want to say before we say sayonara?
I got a question. One last question, and I'll leave it
Shoot.
be. I'll be done.
No,
I
it's
would
okay.
like to know what would any of these three men, your opinion on if James Taylor came back at season finale or maybe next year when at the season premiere on Rampage or whatever. If I decided to step foot back at TBW, would any of you try to stop me? Would any of you actually shake my hand and respect me? Or would you just, look past me and not care?
I'll go first because this is my time, of course. As I said, Mr. James Taylor, if we were to meet in the TBW ring again, I would definitely extend the hand and shake your hand and give you one of the best fights that you've possibly had, or at least tried, because that's my goal. My goal is to be great. My goal is to push myself and earn my spot. And my position is to earn the respect. And yes, I embrace the darkness to do it, but I do it honorably.
Look, I got a lot of light for you. Leave the darkness, come to the light, and I promise you will
I
see
could
great
probably
things.
spare you some lights because I've got like 6 of them now in the background. So I mean, if you always needed a light, I could actually give you a light. But that was a joke. It was a joke. Don't even.
All due respect, Jacob. I respect what you've done. You keep doing what you're doing, kid. But you're going to need to see the light before you face James Taylor. And I promise you, you could do great things from there.
Well, James Taylor, you're actually being sued now by Jason Storm.
I don't give a damn. He can sue me all he wants. I got lawyers. Bring it,
Oh, you do?
punk.
All right. Well, fair enough here. Well, this was a fun show tonight, and we spoke a lot tonight. We spoke a lot about Tennessee backyard wrestling. We spoke about Jacob Young and the future of him. We spoke about the Atomic freaking Titan. We spoke about Joshua Allen and his war of words and what he thinks. We heard tons of comments here, and I still haven't got anything really resolved. I mean, we may see Joe Anderson in Atomic Titan if Commissioner Beast wants that. Maybe we'll see that at season finale. We even saw James Taylor, another Sportswire Radio great. And by the way, before we sign off, I want to one more time, since he's here, you may not want to wish him this, but I want to wish you one more time, Joshua Allen, a very, very happy birthday.
Thank you, man.
And what I'm
Appreciate
going to do for your birthday, sir, at some point in the month of December, going to induct you in that Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame for your birthday. So you get the birthday, we're going to induct you in that Hall of Fame. Going to do a big get you in that Hall of Fame, and make sure that that's your birthday. So it'll be a better birthday present. It'll be a better birthday gift than the Nature Boy Gage Flair would give you out in the town in Tennessee, Mr. Boo Man.
Hope you have a horrible birthday.
Go fuck yourself.
Well, on that note, thank you everybody here for tuning in. And by the way, another lovely woman says, "Happy birthday, Joshua." Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce. We were here joined by Jacob Young, the artist formerly known as Jacob Anderson, the Black Fox Jacob Young. Just call him Jacob Young now. The Hardcore King, the only Grand Slam winner in TBW history, the Atomic freaking Titan, the owner, founder of TBW, Mr. Joshua Allen, and the legendary Nemesis James Taylor, Taft_Taylor. Taft Taylor on Instagram, YouTube, has over 100,000 subscribers. He is the host of the Nemesis Sessions. He was a legendary backyard wrestling star in TBW and many other places. He's also hawking merchandise, and you may know my name. It's the Reverend Tom Bryce. I'll be back tomorrow, Thursday, Friday, and every day probably for the foreseeable future. So just follow me on YouTube at Sportswire Radio 6579 backspace streams, sportswireradio.org. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, on the number one global radio station that is